Before watching this video, subscribe to the channel and also follow me on Instagram and Twitter to keep up to date with everything, including FIFA giveaways. What's going on, people? Welcome back to the channel. Now, this is going to be my first upload of 2019, so happy new year. Hope everyone's kickstarted their year well. Now, this video, I've received comments on YouTube, DMs on Instagram, DMs on Twitter asking, yo Ryan, what custom tactics do you use? What formation do you change to in-game if you want to hold out a lead, if you want to chase the game? And also, what are your camera settings in those gameplay videos? Now, those questions will all be answered in this video, and it comes at a perfect time. I've achieved #1 in the world this weekend league, and it's been going pretty well using these custom tactics. And also, I know a lot of people have received FIFA 19 for Christmas, or maybe they picked it up on Boxing Day sales, and they're wondering, what are the best custom tactics? What are the best settings and formations? And as I mentioned, I will answer that in this video. But before I get into that, I want to quickly show you guys a sick game I've been playing on my phone. Headball 2 is that game I'm talking about. It's free to download on both iOS and Android devices. Compete worldwide in leagues or assert your dominance against friends, which I have been doing and you'll see shortly. You can unlock different characters in game, the likes of Lionel Messi, Ronaldinho, which I'm using right now, or Cristiano Ronaldo, and all of them will be commentated over in game by the legendary John Motson. As I mentioned, the character I am using is Ronaldinho. You can see him here pimped out in gold, studded out. And if you want to unlock different characters, you can head to the store and open up card packs. Now, if you want to see a free gift in game, use this promotional code #Ryan. I'll have it on the screen right here, and you can receive some free gifts in game. Okay, so I'm about to jump into a game with my bro Tro. What are you saying, Tro? Are you ready, yeah?
Yeah, ready to win.
I'm about to catch this L.
Both players are ready, and the match is about to get underway. Unlucky.
Oh, is that even a second that we're
Off
running
the
up?
post and into the net.
Trying to
Denied by the
defend it.
post again. He slightly curves the ball. The fans are going
7
wild.
seconds in.
Perfect
We're
strike.
2-0 up. No.
Right, it's in.
As
Come
if
back.
I jump.
Come back
He's sending
season.
high balls to
Oh,
his
man.
We're watching a very entertaining match. And he scores.
That should have crossed the line.
5-1.
Need a bit
John
of girl
Motson
line
knows
technology
what's going
there.
on.
Goodness me.
A
Bang.
shot from the air.
Number 12. That's a 10-goal difference against him. No one can beat me on this game.
The referee has
Final
blown
whistle
the final
blows.
whistle.
11-2. That's my friend
The
Terrell.
gap was
You can see
huge.
that
He
all matches
brushed
between
aside
us,
the
I have
opponent.
31 wins, 0 losses. So if you think you're good enough to take me on this game, download the link from the top of the description and add my online D right here. It'll be at the bottom of the screen. There might even be a prize for somebody who can beat me. So make sure you're good enough and send those invites over. Back onto FIFA, we do go, and you can see on the screen here straight away, I'm showing my camera settings. Now I use co-op just because it gives a broader view of the pitch, and I used to use telebroadcast, which was good, but as I mentioned, the broader view of the pitch helps both offensively and defensively, and it works for my playstyle. I can see if there's a switch available from my left back to my right back, or if another winger is open that I may not have been able to see on another camera setting. Now, I do not really mess around with any of like the camera height, the camera zoom, any of that stuff. I leave it as default. I'm going to quickly jump back in to show you guys my custom tactics and instructions. Now, the moment you've been waiting for, my custom tactics and instructions and the formations that I do use on Ultimate Team. You can see straight away, my go-to formation is the 4-2-3-1 when I start off a game. If I want to see out a result, I change to the 5-4-1. If I want to chase a game, I change to 4-2-2-2. If I notice some things aren't working in the 4-2-3-1, I'll switch to the 4-4-2 second variation. Now, in terms of the 4-2-3-1, you'll see here my defensive style is drop back, and my width and depth are kept exactly the same as it comes as the default setting. Now, my depth could be a bit lower, but just based on the fact that my defensive style is drop back already, having depth lower doesn't really make too much of an impact anyway, because they're dropping back nonetheless. So it doesn't really make too much of a difference. Width, I just keep it as balanced. I want to have the option to defend narrowly and on the wings. So it's a good setting to keep it as a default, as what it comes as. And in terms of offensive style, I have it as balanced. I used to have it on long ball for this formation, and it did work well, but they weren't really giving too much option in terms of coming short for the time finesse shots on the edge of the box. Now, having it as balanced gives me the option to build up quickly and build up as a possession style type of attack. And you could use fast build up if you want to literally go from defense to attack, but when using fast build up, you have to be wary that your midfielders literally do not contribute to the attack. They are, well, they do, but they're not going to help you go from defense to attack. They're literally going to be attackers anyway. So it's going to be defense to attack rather than defense to midfield to attack, which is why I like to have my setting left on balance. And my width is quite high, as I mentioned, for the time finesse shots. I want them to be sitting on the edge of the box, ready for the first time finesse shot, so I can lay it off to them from either side. And players in the box is quite high at 5. This is probably the highest I do go when I'm not chasing a game. it's okay. The only problem with having it this high is that your CDMs might push forward a little bit. So if you're noticing that your CDMs are contributing to the attack too much, probably because your plays in the box is quite high. Corners, I have it as 2 just because I want the front post man there straight away, and I don't really want too many people in the box. We know how corners are, susceptible to the counter attack, and it does get frustrating, so I limit that from happening by just having 2 people in the box. Now, my instructions for this formation, my striker is set to stay forward. I used to have it as stay central, getting behind, and stay forward, but I just leave it as stay forward. The attacking runs getting behind is useful, but I feel like he makes that run anyway. And because I use LB and RB to trigger the run or make him come short, I don't really want him to get in behind too much because he's going to be offside if I press LB anyway. So I just want him there. And because I'm using Cristiano Ronaldo, he can act as a target man, he can come short, he can offer other things, maybe as a man that can feed it to the wingers. So I just leave it as balanced. Stay central again. I used to use, but it was limiting my attack. If there were runs that needed to be made along the wing that my attacking midfielder wasn't making, my forward would not make it if he was on stay central. So I just leave it as balanced width. So he does have an element to stay central or drift wide. Now my central attacking midfielder, I set him everything else to balance apart from his positioning freedom. I set that to free roam. My wide attacking midfielders, I had them to get in the box for crosses. Obviously I'm using Neymar and Messi. In this situation, it's not ideal just because they're not going to win the headers. But when I'm using the likes of Gareth Bale and I had Perisic, it was amazing. So just leave it as that. And it's been working, as I said, so I'm not really going to change anything in that sense. Now my CDMs, I just have them to stay back while attacking. But the key thing here you have to notice, the defensive positioning is cover center. Now if you cover wing, I already got, if let's say I'm defending and I want to have my attacking midfielders to, if they're balanced or I want them to come back and support the defense, they're already going to be supporting it on the wings because they're quite wide already. Now I don't need my CDM to cover the wing. I need them to cover the center to stop my opposition getting a lot of success through the middle of the field. And it works wonders for me. I say that is the most important thing in your instructions, to have your CDMs as cover center. Now my fullbacks, I have them stay back while attacking, which is a common theme amongst all the formations I do use. Now the next formation I'm going to be discussing is the 4-4-2 second variation, and you can see on the screen straight away, the defensive style is pressure on heavy touch. Now prior to the patch, this was amazing just because fatigue and stamina weren't drained too much. And after the patch, they fixed it. So if you use this throughout the whole game, your players will get fatigued quite often. And it will leave you susceptible to wing attacks because if your opposition subs on an attacker, they're going to have a lot of success down the wings because your fullbacks are going to be tired. And the width I keep at 5, the depth down to 4. Pressure on heavy touch, just because basically when the gameplay is it's a bit heavy, so your opponent's getting a lot of bad touches, your players will be pressing straight away. They're on it like hound dogs. But if your opponent can get out of that press and maybe switch the ball to a fullback or a winger that's open, or maybe someone free in the middle of the pitch, you're screwed for the counter attack. So I like to have my depth lower than, to be honest, it could be lower than this. I'm tempted to lower it now, but just because I got 30-0 with this formation and these settings, I'm not going to alter anything. So I'm going to leave it as that, but be wary that you can be susceptible to counter attacks if they can get out of that press. Now, my offensive style, again, I keep it as balanced. My width is lower because I'm using 4-4-2, as I mentioned. I already have left mids and right mids. They're going to be as wide as possible already. And if I need extra width, I could use the D-pad settings in-game and I can have it as hug sideline, so my players already offer that extra width rather than having in my settings already. Players in the box, I do have it as 5 just because I want my strikers to literally stay in the box. I don't want them outside the box when I'm in my opposition's final third. Problem with this is that my CDM sometimes drift a bit too far forward. If my CDM doesn't have high defensive work rate, they could be teetering around the centre mid or attacking mid position on the pitch, which does get frustrating. And corners, this time I have it as 3, just to have the extra man in the box, because this is somewhat an attacking formation. Even if my opposition is using the 4-2-3-1, if I'm not getting a lot of success attacking against this formation, I'm just going to switch to just to vary it up a bit. And I wanted that extra man in the box to see if I can get a goal from the corner. Now for my instructions for this formation, I have one of the strikers to get in behind and stay forward, and the other one is set to as a false 9 striker, just because they drop deeper and they kind of act as a central attacking midfielder in this formation. You're probably wondering, why don't you just use the 4-2-3-1 wide, because it's pretty much the same thing. But when I'm attacking, it gives the option as 2 strikers when I'm using triggered runs better than it would do in a 4-2-3-1 wide variation. And my wide midfielders, I literally touch nothing on them. I leave them as they come. And my centre defensive midfielders, one of them is set to cut passing lanes, stay back while attacking and cover centre, and the other one is stay back while attacking and cover centre. Of course, as I mentioned, how important cover centre is. Now my fullbacks, again, set to stay back while attacking, which is a common theme you'll notice amongst my defensive fullbacks. Now to showcase my dirty, sweaty formation. It's the 5-4-1. It's used if I'm winning maybe 2-1 on the 80th minute. You know those games where you're hitting the post so often and you know that your opponent's bound to get another chance. So just think, you know what, screw this. I'm keeping the ball. I don't care. Just going to resort to game management, which you have to do sometimes on this game. We all know how irritating it is conceding kickoff goals especially and things like that. Just to lower that chance, I'm literally going to switch to 5 at the back if I'm winning by 1 goal on the 80-odd minute. And it's been working. Defensive style obviously drop back, width I keep at balanced, depth all the way down to 1. I want every homie behind that ball. I don't want to see nobody attacking. When you get the ball, bang, straight down the wing to the corner flag. I don't want anybody up the field. Offensive style possession, obviously, as I mentioned, it's due to what, because I want to keep the ball. So obviously possession is keeping the ball, you know the deal. That's the best way to keep it. Width I keep it as balanced again. Players in the box 1, just because I want nobody in that box, and if somebody does get into the box, it has to be my striker and I want him all by himself. Corners I have it as 2. Again, this could be lower just because I don't want anyone else in the box, but if I have a corner, I want to play it short, keep it around the corner flag, just so if he does tackle me, I've got for another corner or a throw in if I'm lucky. But again, having it at 2 gives that extra option because someone will be on the edge of the box. In case I pass it short, pass to the edge of the box, pass it back and just keep rotating, keeping possession of the ball. Free kicks, again, is quite low. Now, my instructions for this formation: striker, stay central, false 9, come back on defense. He's just literally going to play as a cam pretty much in this formation. Wide players, come back on defense for both of them. Central player, stay back while attacking, cover center. The same for the other center midfielder. And my fullback, stay back while attacking. Centre backs, obviously, stay back while attacking. Last but not least, my 4-2-2 formation. I call this the chokehold. It's what Khabib done to McGregor. Now, if you can get out of this squeeze that I'm squeezing you in deep in your half, take the goal, man. You deserve it. Because when I switch to this formation, it means that I need to get a goal. And I need to get a goal fast. It's usually around the 80th, the 75th minute or past that. My opponent might get a kickoff goal, let's say 75th minute. I'm going to switch to this straight away. Get you in that chokehold, trying to get the goal as soon as possible. Just because I know that once my opposition gets the ball on the 82nd minute, especially in a competitive scene, you're not seeing that ball again. So I want to make sure I can get that the chance as soon as possible, so that it limits the chance of my opposition resorting to game management. Now, my defensive style obviously is constant pressure. I mentioned how overpowered it was prior to the fatigue patch. Still okay now, but if you use this for the full 90 minutes, you're going to need some fitness cards after every game because they die out on that pitch. And that's what I want my players to do. Not obviously die, you know, but I want them to give everything and not leave anything out there. Just literally chase my opposition down like hound dogs. I don't want them anywhere. I want them to be on them like a duvet. Now, my width, I have it as 8 for defensive. Just because I know that if my opposition is keeping the ball, he's going to be switching it because they're going to have a lot of options to switch it. Let's say they switch to 5 at the back, they have wing backs. They're going to be switching it. So I want my width to be high just because my players can squeeze up and stop that switch being an option. Depth is at 5. Could be a bit higher, but I just leave it as that because it's been working. Now, my offensive style, I leave it as long ball. It could be fast build up. Some can argue fast build up might be a bit better in this situation. But you can see from the graphic straight away, when you pick that ball up with your defender, your players are running in behind straight away. And that's what I want them. So I leave it as long ball. Width is on the same as it comes, 5 bars. Players in the box at 8 bars. Now, this is a bit dangerous. You lose that ball, you're in trouble. So you got to be really, really accurate with your passes and not, well, I say not take a lot of risk. This formation is a risk, but be wary. Don't take too many stupid decisions. You know, you got to be relatively smart when using this formation. Now, corners, I have it as 4. Trying to get a lot of people in the box. Don't want it maxed out just because you notice that there's nobody on the edge of the box, and I just want to leave it just in case the ball pops out there. Where Tweedy might hit a screamer, put us 2-2, 88th minute. We're smiling, we're laughing. Free kicks, I leave it as 2. Okay, now my instructions for this formation, I have the supporting runs as balanced, getting behind, stay forward, and aggressive interceptions, which goes for the exact same for the other striker. My attacking midfielders are both set to stay forward, get in the box for crosses, and also aggressive interceptions because I want to retrieve that ball really early on and high up the pitch. I have one of my CDMs to get forward aggressive interceptions and cover center, whilst the other ones stay backs while attacking. You've got to have some common sense there. Just need somebody just to sit there, do the dirty work in front of the defense. I have one of the center backs play as striker, while the other one stays back while attacking, and both fullbacks are balanced with their run type as overlapping. Before I wrap up this video, I want to mention the 4-1-2-1-2 second variation, otherwise known as a diamond. Used to be my go-to formation on previous FIFAs. This year, it's okay. Still in my top 5, but it's not my number 1, you know. Maybe if I had a maxed out team, I can get anyone on the game, it might be good enough, but It's weird though. On my PlayStation account, I achieved Elite 28 and 2, 26 and 4 with an Arsenal and Tottenham combined team, which will be up later this week. So subscribe if you want to watch that. And yeah, the custom tactics, literally I leave everything on balance: width, depth, width attacking, and plays in the box, all on 5 bars. Corners, free kicks, 2 people get in the box, and the instructions, I don't touch anything. And I swear to God, it's been working wonders for me on PlayStation. And yeah, hopefully it works for you too. But that is it for today's video. Massive thank you for the support on my previous videos, and I'll have some #1 in the world rewards and the team of the year pack opening later this week. And yeah, hopefully these custom tactics, formations, instructions, settings, everything, they can help improve your game in the weekend league and on Ultimate Team. We have to be wary though. Just because it works for me doesn't necessarily mean it's gonna work for you, but as I said, I hope it does. And as I mentioned, thank you guys for the support, and I'll see you on the next video.